Hey guys, a quick interlude. As you know, these last couple of months the show is being supported by the British Shooting Show, and I promised you a competition to win a pair of tickets. So please, obviously, subscribe to the show, and if you're already subscribed, get somebody else to subscribe, please, and then answer this question. Comment below with the name of the chap I was out in Italy with, having a gun made. I was at Pattison. A recognisable person who I'm sure you're aware of from their channel was getting a Pattison made. A video will be released later, probably early in the new year, of that process. Please comment below with that person's name, be a subscriber, and you will enter into a draw to win 2 tickets to the British Shooting Show. And I'll see you there. Hey guys, welcome back and Merry Christmas. This week I'm taking a proper look at the Miroku MK11. I think it was last summer, Browning did a launch event when I got to have a quick look at this gun, and it was a quick look. I think I probably spent half an hour with it to do an initial sort of video on this gun. But this time I've gotten to spend a couple of weeks with it, put a good few cartridges through it, some different type of birds, and give you my full review. TLDR, I like it. Let's do the early bits, and then I'll talk about shooting impressions. This particular gun, 32 inch, we've got in 8mm game rib, steel front bead, mid and top rib are solid. We have multi-chokes, 18.8 board, 3-inch chamber. Coming back, we've got a nice sort of rounded English sporting forend. The checkering is all hand cut. The board works pretty heavy, as is usual on Browning and Miroku guns, but the actual checkering itself is reasonably fine. I couldn't tell you what the LPI is, but it's nice. It has a quality feel, it's nice and sharp. The wood grade on this, I would say, is probably a grade 4 or 5. It's a nice bit of wood. Good bit of figure in it, nice contrast. It looks really well. The action is kind of derived from a 725 chassis, but with a different trigger group. So it's an inertia trigger rather than mechanical. The trigger pulls are good, nice and crisp. A little bit of slop in the trigger, which, to be honest, I'm not a huge fan of, but to be honest, not everybody's going to notice that. Other than that, it looks and feels very much like Browning, Miroku, 75 sort of based guns. Coming back into the pistol grip, we've got some nice teardrops. The pistol grip itself, there's no palm swell, not too close a radius, good size, but just a nice versatile pistol grip. The stock itself, 14 3/4 length of pull, a little bit of drop, and not a huge amount of cast. I think this is a gun that a lot of people could shoot. It very much, for all it's £8, I actually was quite surprised. It's £8.3, and I was quite surprised by that. It doesn't feel like an £8 gun. It is nimble, without being too nimble. Although it is a 32 inch, I mean, that's quite unusual for a game gun, but it does handle really, really well, and not too unforgiving. You know, sometimes with game guns, they can be a bit flighty. This actually handles really well. No recoil to speak of. We've got a decelerator pad with a plastic heel, which means that you get less snags when you're mounting the gun. And generally speaking, as you'd expect, the fit and finish is excellent. The dueling on the sides of the monoblock is really nice. Everything just hangs together really, really nicely. Oh, by the way, it's an Invector Plus choke. The gun handles really nicely. It's nimble without being too much. It's nice and quick to the shoulder. It's actually a really easy gun to shoot. It's one thing I've found when I've been playing with it, is that it is just a nice, easy gun to get behind, get onto stuff, and get at it. The gun comes cased, a Miroku with a case, and it's a nice case. Black ABS, black felt lining. It's pretty. You get a selection of chokes, which, as I said, are flush chokes, and it patterns really well. Downside is, I don't know, I think that might be the lowest effort choke key I've seen in a while. This is, holy guys, this gun, £6,200 new, you can do a better choke key than that. The engraving is very pretty, okay? The scroll work is beautifully done, flash cuts, it's an eye grabber, okay? But I would prefer if it were all acanthus. The the attention to detail in like the fore end iron, the trigger grip, the trigger guard, all looks really, really good. But the game scene is not to my taste. It's just too deep for a game scene. I would much rather it be all this lovely acanthus scroll with the flash cuts. It just, I don't know, the pheasants look all right, but the chickens on the other side, not their finest work, I would argue. It's just something about when you've executed a game scene in that sort of really thick laser etched style, it just doesn't look right. And I would much prefer if it were all scroll. I think it would look ever so classy and elegant with just acanthus on, with those nice flash cuts giving it that depth. Other than that, superb. Genuinely, really enjoyed shooting it. It's a lovely thing to look at. You know, you've got bonny wood, you've got a little medallion. It is lovely. Oh, one other bad thing. Shooting wise, fantastic. But these solid ribs, very much in vogue at the minute. But the problem with solid ribs is the heat's got nowhere to go. So you do get a thin blade of heat haze that can be quite distracting. It depends on the directionality of the bird. I think if you're shooting driven stuff, you wouldn't notice it. But anything crossing, where you pass through the bird, if you're coming from behind and you pass through it, this sort of distortion blade that lives above the barrel when it gets hot, I find quite distracting. I would much prefer a ventilated mid and top rib. Maybe not to everyone's taste from a aesthetic point of view, but I don't think it detracts. I don't think people are looking at your rib. You know, people are looking at your wood and they're looking at your engraving, and that's what makes a gun pretty. I think the current vogue for these solid ribbed guns will probably die off in a year or two. My opinion, of course. This gun is on the wall used. I would suggest you ring the shop for a price if you are interested. But I don't imagine it'll be kicking around for very long because it is very nice. Guys, the channel is, as ever, supported by Bywell Shooting Ground, Hull Cartridges and MacWet Gloves. Do please give us a follow, like and subscribe, comment below if you've got any questions or if you just want to make a comment. And I will see you next time, and have a Merry Christmas.